So we're going to fly over from the sunny climes of Hertfordshire, just north of London in England. Going to go down over the Channel, across the Bay of Biscay, France, and through down the Atlantic, both south and west. And we're going to fly down there, long flight down to Sao Paulo, I think, or somewhere in Brazil anyhow, to our beloved Bhaktivedanta, Sripad Bhaktivedanta Mahavir Maharaj, who I've known for many years actually, but has really come like a sunrise in my life for the last few months through these Bhakti-Zoom programs. And it's been really enlightening and a beautiful experience to get a sense of his non-sectarian One Chaitanya family mood, which is very beautiful. And I'm really enjoying watching his evolution in his bhakti. It's wonderful. He received Harinama Diksha in 2007 and took shelter of Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bhakti Maharaj, receiving sannyas in 2017. So he just spoke, I think, 2-3 times during the Gurudeva Appearance Festival, and very fortunate to have him on our final program. Maharaj, you have until 34 past your time. What's that? 12:34 your time in Brazil. A very warm welcome to the final glorification. Well, not the final glorification. We're going to keep on glorifying Gurudev, but the final glorification in this particular 64-week festival of glorifying Srila Gurudev. Haribol Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams.
Dandavat Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Dandavat all devotees. It's a great honor for me, and definitely I don't feel qualified to be here with all of you today, but this is by your mercy, by Gurudev's arrangement as well. And I'm very happy to see again Krishna Kripa after many, many years. He used to be there in Mathura in Vrindavan, and very nice to see you. And Yashodananda Prabhu as well, always very, very kind and very merciful. He saw me in the very, very beginning as well, when I was like crawling in Gurudev's room and doing some massage and like starting my spiritual journey. And since the beginning, he was always there and always very helpful. And when I had a chance to be also in those BTI meetings and so many type of top secret meetings, I was there somehow or other because I was in Gurudev's room. And so I could see, you know, many, many things. And I really, really always admire and appreciate Yashodananda Prabhu's service to Srila Gurudev and his mood. And I want to congratulate for this wonderful festival you arranged, along with Jashodari Didi and so many other devotees, for this Gurudev Centennial Festival. It is a great like shower of nectar. Be able to hear from so many close associates of Srila Gurudev. And I feel like, you know, part of a most wonderful family in the whole existence, in the whole universe. How many qualified and sweet God brothers and God sisters Gurudev left, you know, for me to be inspired. And this is like the treasure of my life, I can tell you honestly from the core of my heart. So, okay, let me offer first my pranam to Gurudev, and then we can start. Om Jnanatirandasya Jnananjanam Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Stadhalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Narayanam Gurum Vande Saranyam Bhakta Bandhavam Gaudamanubhishtam Purnam Radha Dasyam Pradayakam Rupanugacharya Varyam Rupa Manjari Preshtakam Patita Pavana Bandhavam Yugacharya Narayanam Vancha Kalpa Taruyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Twise Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I begin offering my most humble obeisances to the dust of the lotus feet of Paramaradatama Shri Guru Pada Padma Nityalila Pravista Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Ashtottara Sata Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudeva, and to my most worshipable Shikshan Sannyasa Guru Nityalila Pravista Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Ashtottara Sata Srimad Srila Bhakti Vijnana Bharati Goswami Maharaj, and to all Shri Rupa and Gauriya Guru Varga, to all Tridandis Sannyasis, Brahmacharis, Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, and to all the assembled devotees here today, my most respectful obeisances. So, by the causeless mercy of Srila Gurudeva and all Mahabhagavatas Acharyas, we are able to assemble here one more time. So, I'd like to begin saying that in his commentary of Gopi Gita book, Srila Gurudeva, he wrote that the word Jayati, or means to give Jai, means to become glorious or victorious. So actually, when we call out Gurudev Ki Jai, we want that Gurudeva, he will be victorious over ourselves. He will be victorious over our heart, and he will conquer our heart, and he will conquer our mind, and he will be able to, somehow guide us. So I begin by saying that, Srila Gurudeva Ki Jai, that he may conquer myself, and I also must allow that, That's the most difficult thing, how to surrender to Srila Gurudev. Although we want that, but at the same time, we also want so many other things. And to be completely surrendered is something which takes some time, but that should be our prayer somehow or other. And now the memories I have with Srila Gurudev, although they are very few, but they are the meaning of my life. They are which I have to, anchor myself in my devotional life. And I pray again and again that he may find me, in the future lives, and he always be guiding me for my whole existence. So before starting with my memories with Srila Gurudeva, I just wanted to say that Srila Gurudeva, he's the ripened fruit of the Rupanuga tree. It means that he's the pinnacle of Mahaprabhu's movement. All which was laid down before Gurudeva's appearance, it was, creating this environment, the proper situation, the proper condition for Srila Gurudeva to come. Just like the tree is preparing itself to bear the fruit, which is the best, what the tree can give, this nourishment. So, and how Srila Gurudeva, he manifested the deepest knowledge about Rasa Tattva, the nectar of Radha Prem that he distributed through his Harikatha and his books. What he achieved as an Acharya, attracting the hearts of millions and the respect of important political and religious leaders. How he read the paradigm of Raganuga, how he protected the different dhammas, and how he accomplished many other incomparable, established Gurudeva's unique position in the modern history of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So we are not talking about just one more Acharya. We are talking about someone extraordinary who is the embodiment of Mahaprabhu's Manobishtam in its complete and vast form. So, first I came to know about Srila Gurudeva. It was in 2006. And I was not a devotee yet. So, but very soon I became very much attracted by him. And then I received Harinam in June 2007. And October 2007 for Kartik, I was already in India, where I could meet Srila Gurudeva for the first time in person. So, and that was the first day of Kartik. And as you all know, the first day of Kartik is also the disappearance day of Param Gurudev. And Srila Gurudeva, he is very much emotional at that day. And I have never seen such, expression of emotion and Guru Nishtha that Srila Gurudeva has manifested there. And seeing Gurudeva weeping, crying for his Gurudev, made me feel like completely, realized, because for my whole life, my father, he was always like scolding me when I was weeping by saying, man, don't cry. I had a type of like strict education. And my father, he never cried in his life, I think, because he was such a cold person. And that was like a trauma for me, that I couldn't cry, I couldn't express my emotions. And at the same time, I was very much sensitive, thinking about, a life and writing poetries and, so finally, when I saw my Gurudev crying, then now I felt, oh, my spiritual father will definitely encourage me to cry. So that was a very, very warm welcoming by Srila Gurudev. And then from that time, gradually by and by, Srila Gurudev gave me Diksha. And that was a little bit type of funny thing, that I took saffron before taking Diksha. And according to Gaudiya tradition, it's not, the way we should do. But what happened was that at that time I was in the kitchen, washing pots, everything there with Premananda's group. And then he told me like this, these Mathura girls here, they're working so hard. They're very, very qualified devotees. You can choose one. I will marry them to you, I told him, no, I don't want to marry, actually. I want to be brahmachari. And he said, oh, really? Then you should take saffron. I say, why? I don't know about that. I was very new. I was brand new at that time. I don't know anything about that. He said, yes, you should go to Gurudev and take saffron. I said, how is it possible? I'm not going to Gurudev. How can I just enter Gurudev's room and say, I'm not even decided about that? Then I told, joking to him, okay, if you like it, then you can go. Then you can speak on my behalf to Gurudev. So next morning he comes to me and he said, oh, I spoke to Gurudev. Here is your saffron cloth. You should go to him after Mangalarati next morning and take your saffron. But that was not true. He didn't go to Gurudev at all, So next morning, I was like feeling very much type of like fear, in my heart, because it would be a kind of very drastic change in my life. But somehow or other, after some time, I felt comfortable, and I really, felt that it was good for me. I would go for that. So then when I arrived in Gurudev's room, it was like after Mangalarati, still Brahma Muhurta. And then Brajanath Prabhu opened the door and I said, oh, Gurudev is waiting for me because there is an appointment for me to take saffron. And Brajanath said, really? I don't know about that. I said, yes, Premananda already spoke to him. I said, okay, let me check. So he went there to check. And of course, he didn't speak anything to Gurudev. And then Brajanath say, okay, you are here. You are with your clothes, so you want to come? I can explain to Gurudev. And if Gurudev wants to give you, then it's okay. Say yes. Okay, let's go then. Huh? I'm here. Then Srila Gurudev, he was on his bed, half lying on his bed. And then he stood up and he took the saffron cloth and he offered in the altar. He had like a small altar on his window, a picture of Radha Vinoda Bihari Param Gurudev. And then he offered the clothes there, and then he turned to me and he handed it to me. And when I caught it, he was still holding that, and he pulled me closer to him. And he looked very close to my face with that big blue eyes. I was like shaking, from toe to head. And he said, you should promise you never associate with any lady, and you follow this brahmachari life very strictly. I said, yes, Gurudev, I promised. I say, okay, now you should change your clothes and offer pranam to everyone. All brahmacharis, sannyasis, like that. And then like this I did. So then by the end of Kartik, then I took Diksha. And then, but nobody asked me if I had or not Diksha before I took saffron. Things were just going. So when was Ekadashi, end of Kartik, I went to take Diksha, so I had a yagya, so I shaved my head. So when I was going to offer pranam to the devotees, and then Premananda looked to me and said, oh, are you crazy? Why you have shaved before end of Kartik? I said, no, I took Diksha just now. He said, you took Diksha? I said, yes, but you took before saffron. I said, well, you told me to do it, so what can I do? It is your fault. And then everyone was laughing, So it's a type of, switching the process. So by the end of Kartik, 2007, Madha Maharaj, he made an announcement about the Bengal Prachar, going to Bengal villages and preaching, collecting rice. And he mentioned my name, that I should go. And I didn't know anything about Bengal Prachar. And I supposed to go with one Bengali sannyasi, which was like Bhakti Maharaj. He didn't speak English. I didn't speak Bengali. I didn't know anything, how to play mridanga, how to speak anything, how to preach, anything. Then I spoke to Madha Maharaj. I said, Maharaj, what is that? He said, no, you should go. It's very nice, very good service. Many Western boys are going, this and that. And when I was speaking with other devotees, they used to say, no, don't go. It will be very bad. There is no good food, no bathroom, no good water, very tough. And this sannyasi doesn't know English. And how are you going to survive there? So anyway, finally, we got shifted to Vishnu Maharaj's party, So I went to Vishnu Maharaj's party. And then Srila Gurudeva, he gave us the target of 100 mon of rice. It means 4 tons of rice we should collect and bring to Navadip Dham Parikrama. And we were all very young brahmacharis. Like the team was myself, Vishnu Maharaj, that time Jiva Priya, Chandrasekhar from Australia, Srivas from Canada, Haridas from England, that time he was very young. And we all went to the Bengali villages. It was like amazing experience, actually. And just to make short this story, we collected 80 mon of rice, means 20 less than what Gurudev wanted. So when we came back to Navadvip for the parikrama, we were like received as a heroes, all the Western boys, they survived the tigers of Bengal and the dirty water and the chili, the rice, many things. So, and when we went to Gurudev's room, and then Vishnu Maharaj was telling to Gurudev how it was, and Vishnu Maharaj said, well, we collected 80 mon. And Gurudev, he opened a big eye and said, really? I never expected you could do so good. I said, but Gurudev, you asked us 100 mon. We actually failed. And he said, no, I just put a very high target. So you could at least go to half maybe, but you have gone to 80. It is amazing. And Gurudev was praising us so much. And we were like very happy, So instead of like being unhappy or chastising us because not reaching the target, the goal, Gurudeva, he was like very, very happy and encouraging us so much. And then I started to realize a little bit of how it is like spiritual life and brahmachari life. Saying like they always push you so much, so much, so much that at least you are going to achieve something much more than you would if they would put a lower target, So, and this is like Gurudev's, and then we say Gurudev is all by your mercy, definitely. So Next year, Gurudeva, he came to our village for a big program. We arranged a huge like bundle program, and then Gurudeva, he was so happy because we arranged 4 different kitchens. One kitchen for Western devotees who went there, one kitchen for the Indian devotees, one kitchen for the general public from the village, and one kitchen for Srila Gurudeva. And Gurudeva was so happy, and then he mentioned it was one of the best festivals I have been in my whole life. He was in a very chilly mood, and many Western devotees came, many sannyasis, many you know, didis. They had like a didis party of Sankirtan going on. So Gurudeva, he praised so much, and he was very happy with that. So later on, when Vishnu Maharaj, he became sannyasi, then he handled me the in charge of the group, and I started to lead the Bengali party, and then the preaching was going on. So anyway, but coming back to the first year in Navadvip, I started to go to Gurudev's room. It was in Navadvip, like 2008. And I knew how to do some massage before I was working with that sometimes. Then I saw once that devotees were massaging Srila Gurudev twice a day. And I thought, I also want to massage Srila Gurudev. So, but how to do that, you know? Then I ask around, and they say, oh, very difficult. It's a very closed group. Gurudeva hardly accepts anyone like different to massage him, this and that. But I put in my mind, I want it, and I would try somehow to do it. So I thought my strategy would be to first massage Madhav Maharaj and Brajanath Prabhu. And if they like it, they would recommend me, you know. So then I massaged Madhav Maharaj for 2 or 3 days. And then I told Maharaj, it's possible to massage Srila Gurudeva as well, this and that. And he said, yes, we can try one day. So then Brajanath Prabhu brought me inside one evening. And then Gurudeva, he was putting on his gamcha, and there was a couple of, you know, devotees around. When he saw me, he looked and he said, what are you doing here? And I was like frozen, you know, I couldn't say anything. And I looked to Brajanath Prabhu, and Brajanath Prabhu looked to me, and Gurudeva looked and said again, go away from here at once. Go and distribute some prasadam. What are you doing here? I have nothing to do, no business for you here. Then I looked to Brajanath Prabhu again, and he said, okay, better you go. Then I went. The next day again I came. And then I say, Madhav Maharaj, can you go with me this time? And then it was like 11 o'clock a.m., you know. And then Madhav Maharaj, he went there with me. And then again, Gurudev, when he looked at me, he said, what are you doing here? Go to distribute some prasadam. And then Madhav Maharaj say, no, he will stay, because we don't have enough devotees to massage, and he will do. And from that day on, every day Gurudeva accepted me, and every time Madhav Maharaj called me to put Gurudev's towels, to bring the bottle of oils and put everything there, you know, in Navadvip, in Govardhan or Mathura. And many times I was there massaging Gurudev, and as well as I met Yashodananda Prabhu there. And then once we were in Mathura, it was also 2008, just in the sequence, I'm telling you, like chronological, you know, order. After Navadvip Parikrama, Gurudev used to go to Mathura, then Govardhan, then Ram Navami in Mathura again, then he would fly to the west. Then we were doing some massage there, and after the massage, Premananda was telling to Gurudev about the bookstall in Mathura Math, because that was closed for a few years, and Gurudev was a little upset, you know. Then Premananda Prabhu, he told Gurudev, look, this brahmachari, and he pointed to me, he's a very honest boy. You should handle him the bookstall, and he will take care of everything. And I don't know what happened. Gurudev, he pulled my dhoti, you know, like this, and just moved me like around. I don't know what he did, why he did that, you know. But anyway, he just looked at me and he said, can you do it? Say, yes, Gurudev, I can do it. You keep all the accounts, you keep everything perfectly. Say, yes, no problem. Okay. Then they handed me the bookstall. I made everything nice, arranged, started selling many books. And then Gurudeva, he left to the west. Then again, he came for Janmashtami in Mathura. So when he came, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to leave the bookstall open, because just at the entrance of Keshavji Gauriya Math, right? At that corridor, you know, when you enter in the Math. And then we keep everything ready, very nice. So when he comes in, he can see that. But it was a big crowd, big Sankirtan, you know, and Gurudeva, he was passing by and he was not looking towards the side of the bookstall. Then I just, you know, waved to Shpad Madhav Maharaj, Maharaj. Then I pointed, the bookstall, show to Gurudev, like this, you know. Immediately, Madhav Maharaj, he turned Srila Gurudeva around and he put Srila Gurudeva in front of the bookstall. And suddenly, like the kirtan was going on, like a big thing was going on, but looked like Srila Gurudev's world stopped. Everything stopped. And he was like carefully watching every corner of the bookstall, like putting his eyes around like this, you know, very carefully watching everything. Then finally his eyes like fell on me. I was in a very like corner like this, little bit no coming out of the way for him to see everything. And he was looking to me, and he had a rose in his hands that someone gave to him. And suddenly he just did like this. And he gave him that rose. I like shaking, you know, I took that and I felt, oh my God, what happened? And Gurudeva, he smiled a little bit and then he continued his way. I said, oh my God, now my life is successful, you know. Srila Gurudeva, he was happy somehow with this like a small thing I have done, and how sweet, you know, the act of like handing me that rose. And I felt, oh, this is wonderful, you know, how Gurudeva, he's sweet, you know, how he's, you know, I couldn't find like adjectives for Srila Gurudeva, you know. So I kept that rose like in a lamination, you know, to be like, you know, forever. And so then later on, because I was there in charge of the bookstall, what happened, the next year, 2009, when he was in Govardhan, also after Gaura Purnima, I was there also with him, serving him there for some time. And then two things happened. The first thing was that, 2008, it was in the sequence, after Janmashtami. He went to Govardhan, then I went there also. And then one morning, Shpad Madhav Maharaj, he said, oh, Gokul was my name, Gokul Chandradas. He said, Gokul, you stay here with Srila Gurudev, I have to do some business. And that was the first time I was alone with Srila Gurudev, completely alone. And I was still not much, you know, like intimate, you know, everything was like beginning. Not that I have intimacy before, after, but it was in a very like new way. So then Gurudev, he was in his balcony chanting, taking sun bath. And I was just a little distance inside of his bhajan kutir. And I was also chanting. And Gurudev, he looked at me and he said, what are you doing? I said, oh, Madhav Maharaj asked me to stay here and watch you. So if you need anything, I can help. He said, I don't need anything. Go and find some job. Go and find some work to do. Kuch kam nahi hai aapka. Go from here. And then I thought, what can I do now? I cannot leave. But at the same time, how can I not follow Gurudev's order? So like in a fraction of seconds, I had to, you know, dialogue with myself and come to some like, you know, a final step. And my decision was, I'm not going. I have to hold my ground here. Because if I leave this room and anything happened to Srila Gurudev, then Madhav Maharaj will be angry with me. And if Madhav Maharaj is angry with me, then I will never be able to serve Gurudeva anymore. But if Gurudeva is upset with me and Madhav Maharaj is pleased, somehow Madhav Maharaj can pacify Gurudeva. So that was the first thing I learned in Guru Seva, you know, that the servants of Guru, they have more power than Guru himself to decide who is going to do or not service. And I just hold my ground. I just ignore Gurudeva completely. I look towards other side of the room. And Gurudeva, after some time again, he say, go from here. I completely looked around, it's not with me, you know. After some time, Gurudev, he just forgot about me and he was just chanting. And then I'm looking to him like this from the corner of my eyes. And I looked that he was a little bit trying to itch his foot, you know, with another foot, using one toe to, then I was thinking, what's happening? Then I realized, oh, he's feeling hot and he wants to remove his socks, but he's not able to reach his foot. And I ran there and gently I start to remove his socks. And then when I finished that, I put his socks one side and I looked to him and say, that's why I'm here. And then he looked at me and he smiled and he said, okay, then sit here and chant. So that was how I overcome the fear, you know, of serving Srila Gurudeva. And then I realized you cannot have fear and be there at the same time, because fear and service to Gurudeva, they don't come along, you know. And there was another instance also, which happened similarly to that, which was, we went to Durvasa Ashram by car in the morning, myself, Madhav Maharaj, Brajanath Prabhu, and Nishinha Maharaj, that time Purandra Prabhu. And me and Brajanath Prabhu, we carried Srila Gurudev all the way up Durvasa stairs, very long stairs, you know, and everything was fine. We moved back and forth, we went to Mathura back afterwards. So when we reached the Keshavaji Gauriya Mat, we had again to lift him to take him upstairs. But somehow or other, when myself and Brajanath Prabhu, we would catch each other's arms to make like a seat, like a chair for Gurudev to sit on, we couldn't catch each other's arms. And Gurudeva, he started to sit down behind. But he didn't find our arms, though he little bit like, you know, like trampled behind. And he became upset. And instead of looking to Brajanath, of course, he looked to me and he took my ears and he twisted my ears like this and said, you don't know anything. And then I looked to Brajanath and said, what to do? And Brajanath was kind of, you know, telling me, go again, we will do again. But I feared, you know. So Brajanath, he lifted Gurudeva alone and he went all the way up. So when we arrived there, Gurudeva entered his room, Brajanath Prabhu came out and he said, look, never do that again. I said, what? Never fear to try again and do your service, no matter how much Gurudeva will chastise you. So Brajanath was not upset because of my mistake. He was upset because I was not again going and trying, you know. So that was also a big lesson. And another lesson was that Madhav Maharaj once told me, now you are here serving Gurudev, this and that. Don't think that Gurudeva needs your service. Gurudeva never needs our service. He's just giving us a chance to purify ourselves. So it's a type of offense. You think that Gurudeva is going to need your service, that nothing can do without you, you know, so never think like that. So I got this lesson as well. So then in 2009 again, by the beginning of 2010, Gora Purnima, my parents came to India for the first time to see how I was, you know. Parents are parents, you know. Although I left my home, I was 18, and at that time I was already like 27 or 28. Still, they were like worried about. No, India is like a different universe, you know. Anything can happen in India. So anyway, they wanted to travel as well. So anyway, they came there to see me, and then I took them to see Srila Gurudev. You know, Gurudev was in his room. Then I told Srila Gurudev, these are my parents. And I'm very grateful to them for anything they, all the support they gave me for my whole life. So I want to offer them the most precious thing I have in my life, and that is you. That is your association. So please bless them also. Please accept them, even in an informal way. Then Gurudeva, he raised his hand and he gave his like blessing like this. And my mother, she was crying and crying and crying. And Gurudeva, he did like this to her. No, why cry? What happened? And then Gurudeva told her, look, I have so much love and affection for your son. I'm taking care of him. You should not worry about anything. And then again, she started to cry even more, because now she understood that, there is no way for me to leave this place, because the type of love and affection I found here, they could never give, Gurudeva is our true mother, our true father, he's like everything for us. And hearing that from Srila Gurudeva is very much, fulfilling. As a Western person, we always like to hear, I love you, or to say, I love you. This is a Western world, it's based on speaking. But in the Indian world, in the Vedic world, everything is like not to be told, not to be said, like, always hiding things. But I was surprised, that Gurudeva, he said that. And I felt like even more inspired. Also, one time, I was in one program in Bengali village, which Srila Gurudeva was in Canning, in Tamal Krishna Prabhu's field. And after this stage program, we came back with Srila Gurudeva to his room. And again, Madhav Maharaj told me, you stay here with Gurudeva, I'm going to do some business. So Srila Gurudeva, he sat on his bed and he started pulling out of his pockets a lot of money, from the pranamis. And for many times, I was counting Gurudeva's money, in his rooms there. They used to put like piles of monies and coins. So I was always counting Gurudeva's money as well. So Gurudeva put all the money on the bed and called me to come closer and kneel down and help him in counting that money. So I started putting like 10 rupees in different piles of bills and 50 rupees, everything like that. But then when I looked to Gurudev, he was putting, not only the bills together, but the Gandhi's face in the same position as the other Gandhi's face of another bill. He was putting everything organized, like in a bank, And when he looked at me and he saw the mess I was doing, he put all the bills upside down, and he did like this, to give my slap. Then I closed my eyes, just waiting for that big slap, but didn't come. Then when I opened my eyes, Gurudeva's hand was like this, and he was laughing, laughing to me, I said, Gurudev, beat Gurudev. He said, no. Count it properly now. So I almost got a slap of Gurudev, I was like almost dreaming, because it's type of, great mercy, but I was not deserving that slap, and he was just like stop his hand and like laughing at me, So anyway, one time I also saw Srila Gurudev in his like very end of his pastimes, because he was like getting older and older, more fragile, many things. And one thing happened once, it was 2010 also, after Gaura Purnima. He continued to stay in Bengal for some time in Navadip. He was still in that previous, the second Bhajan Kutir, means in the B block of Navadip Mat, Then one morning I went there after Mangalarati, as I used to go to see if I could do something. Then I saw Gurudev, he was wrapped, in the blankets on his bed. He was never at that time. He was ready to go for morning walk. And then Madhav Maharaj came to me and said, oh, Gurudev, he slept in the bathroom and he hurt himself. And now he's there, little bit in shock, what to say, So he's just taking some break. So go inside and massage Gurudev's feet very gently so he can sleep. Then I went, then I started to massage his feet, and he just raised his eyebrow like this and look at me and to see who was, and again he closed his eyes, and I was gently massaged. Then I realized, oh my God, Gurudev is so fragile now. You know, he's like in his second childhood, like, because like when you get old, you become like in the second childhood. And then I started to realize, oh, for the first time I thought, Gurudev, he may not stay longer with us, you know. So what can I do? Then later, some Bengali Matajis came, and he was telling them in Bengali in a very sweet way, oh, today I slept in the bathroom, I hurt myself here and here, this and that, this is very bad, I'm very old now, I cannot do anything more I want, and so I don't know how much more time I have. Then I begin to cry so much, you know, and thinking, oh my God, it's like, it's real, it's going to happen, you know, sooner or later. Then Gurudev left again for preaching. And then I went to Bangalore, stayed there with Vaikanas Maharaj. And then finally we got a message that Gurudev, he arrived in Delhi and he went to hospital directly. He was not in a good shape. That was around like August, like Janmashtami time. And everyone's like red light, you know. And then when September arrived, then everyone thought, oh, must everyone come down to Delhi before Kartik to see Srila Gurudev, because, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. He's not in a good position. He's very introspective, like, you know, he's very absorbed, you know. Then he was discharged from the hospital, and they set up like a type of, you know, intensive care in Delhi Mart. So I remember to arrive there just 1 week before Kartik Parikrama. And all devotees, they were doing kirtan outside of Gurudev's room. And Gurudeva, he was not coming out, very rare. He was some waving from the screen, but very, very rare. Not everyone was allowed inside. And even myself, I couldn't go inside to do any service. But I thought to me, I want to serve Gurudev, you know, because I served since the last 2-3 years. I want again to do in this time service, but the group was so closed, and the brahmacharis, they were trained to serve Gurudev in that medical like procedures. So no one else was allowed to go. So then, one day before Kartik, Madha Maharaj made an announcement, everyone should go to Vrindavan and follow Parikrama. This is Gurudev's order. But I felt inside, I don't want to go to Parikrama at all. I have no taste for this Parikrama without Gurudev. I don't want to go. I want to be here and I want to serve him. So I was praying so much to Gurudev. Gurudev, please, you know, give me inspiration, give me some last mercy, you know. Then what happened? When I was in Bangalore before coming, I cut my finger when I was opening some coconut. And it cut so deep that I lost the movement of my finger. I couldn't like close my hand properly. So I had an idea. One of Gurudev's doctors, she was from Bangalore, and she had one type of like shock healing machine, electrical pulse machine to heal. And she was treating my hand, and my hand was like going good, like improving. And I told Madha Maharaj, look, after Kartik Parikrama, we have to go to Bengal preaching. And I have to lift heavy bags. So my hand is very bad. If I don't fix it, I cannot preach nice in Bengal. So let me stay here. I do this treatment with this lady. And then if I'm good, Vrindavan later. He said, okay, but stay alone. Don't keep anyone with you. I said, okay. Then 2 days later, he comes to me and he said, hey, Gokul, Madhuvrat Prabhu got sick and we need you to replace him. I said, oh, Jai Gurudev. And then I went there, started to do these night shifts with Sanjay Prabhu, then Madhava Priya Prabhu. And then they little bit, you know, trained me what, like all the procedures with Gurudev. Then what I saw there was actually very like disturbing for me, actually, you know, because to see Gurudev in that situation is not easy, you know, for many, many reasons. I don't want to go deep in that, but the thing is, Gurudeva, he was of course, in a deep like state of absorption in the Nitya Lilas. And although there was no like clock in his room or any type of calendar, he always knew when was Karma, when was Ekadashi, what was going on, what was not going on. And somehow he used to speak something like this, And especially Gurudev's looking, his eye was strong as it was before. Although his body was very weak, but when he looked you, you say, oh, he's there. He's definitely there, He was looking at the very, very same strong way. So then we moved to Govardhan, and that was that, a very, a difficult Kartik month. Everyone expecting he would enter at the time. Finally, it didn't happen. So then when Kartik finished, Madha Maharaj told me, now you can go to Bengal preaching, and we will go to Puri, and Srila Gurudeva, he will be fine, and we will meet again in Gaura Purnima. Then I had the responsibility
Maharaj, just to let you know, we've given you an extra quarter now because it's so relishable, but you'll need to start wrapping it up.
Okay, sure. Then Gurudev, he went to Puri, and I went to Bengal preaching, and one night we were there with Sridhar Maharaj doing Bhagavat Saptaha, and that was the 29th December. And then I had a dream with Srila Gurudev. In that dream, he was coming very beautiful, very healthy, and there was like many devotees like along beside, and he was walking very nicely. Then I told everyone, look, how Gurudeva, he's healthy, he's cured, he's fine. But when I looked towards everyone was crying so much. And I say, why everyone is crying? Look, Gurudev is so healthy. When I looked back to Gurudev, he disappeared completely. Oh, then I realized, oh, Gurudev has left. Then suddenly one brahmachari started to wake me up, and he say, oh, wake up, Gurudev enters Samadhi. And my answer to him was, I know, because of the dream. When I really woke up, I realized, oh my God, Gurudev, he really left. Then we started crying so much, and everyone would like embrace each other, Then they gave us order, go to Navadvip to prepare Gurudev Samadhi, because we were very close there. I'm just finishing just one small point now. Then Gurudev, then we start preparing Gurudev Samadhi. Then Gurudev, he arrived, later at night, and we put him on the stage there, and there was like kirtan whole night. And then I thought, oh, I will do my last massage, Gurudev, So I just took Gurudev's feet. I was like very softly massaging his feet. The next day, after parikrama with him, we took Gurudev's body and we applied tilak. We put his new cloth, everything. And then myself and Vishnu Maharaj, we lifted Gurudev's with our own arms together, and we moved towards the Samadhi pit. And then we handled Gurudev's body there to be given Samadhi. So that was my last, touch of Srila Gurudev's body. And his body was so warm and so like, colorful. And, like we felt his presence all the time there. And immediately after, I became the pujari of his Samadhi for years. And we established a very high standard, very, very nice. His bhajan kutir, I opened. I arranged everything nice, started doing seva there for Gurudev. So these are some of the very sweet memories I had with him, how much he was kind and merciful to me all the time. And I can even in millions of lives. I had many other things to say, but time is there. I also don't want to, take Mahakala Prabhu's time. But anyway, I pray from the core of my heart that song, Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, Srila Gurudev Koro Mori Atma Sat. You make me Atma Sat with you. You please allow me to understand who you are, understand what is your mood, your manobishtam, your seva vritti. your bhav, if I understand that, then I can definitely serve you properly. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarvyasya kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo Srila Gurudeva ki jai.
Beautiful, Maharaj. I have to say, when Gurudev gave you the rose, I felt that I was also receiving the rose from you. It was so relishable, very, very beautiful. Yesterday I had this fantastic thali. It was a prasadam thali, but today I feel I have just had a thali from you. And it's one of those sharings where there was so much in there, I could almost, if I'm not careful, I'll give a longer summary than the actual offering. I learned a lot from what you said. One thing I'd like to point out to the devotees, it was something Shamrani chastised me on some years ago. When I'm talking about Gurudev's disappearance and his seeming illness, she said, I must always say his disappearance pastimes to remind ourselves that this is not a material thing. Although I got that mood from you entirely, it's really for my benefit to remember these are disappearance pastimes. We are, it's extraordinary to witness these things. At the beginning of what you shared, I loved what you said about Jai. I hadn't heard that before, actually, that Jai, I know it's Gurudev is conquering, and it's the conquest over Maya, but his conquest over my mind, over my ego. This is a very beautiful meditation. I loved your story of the Bengal Prachar. I can just imagine fortunately I never got invited because I don't think I would have made it. I probably would have had all the rice actually. But the measurement of the rice, is it Mohan? How do you spell that? 100 Mohan?
Mon.
How do you spell that?
M-O-N.
Oh, Mon. Okay, great. That's cool. I love that idea of high targets, and yet he set you a stretch target and then really praised you. But the only problem with that is then the next target's really a high target, so you'll have to raise the bar again. That was beautiful. Just a quick question: when you made the 4 kitchens, you said one for the Westerners, one for the Indians, one for Gurudev, and then one for the general public. What's the difference in the general public and the Indians? Was that because they're Bengali, so they need extra spice or something?
No, because we had the Indian devotees, our God brothers and God sisters, who were there, attended the program, and then we had the general, like village people.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the village people.
Okay.
Because we wanted to offer very nice prasadam for all the devotees, but for general people, we cannot handle a feast. It was just khichuri. Because 5,000 people,
Yeah. I remember those huge, massive boats of prasadam, how they distributed. Amazing, amazing.
I was cooking for the Indian devotees. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And I love your stories about the massages. I was actually too afraid of massaging Gurudev, but probably for good reason, because I'm very clumsy, and I probably would have been a disaster, more of a disaster in the massage camp as I would have been in the Bengal Prachar. So I was always a little cautious in that area. But your Guru Seva story was fabulous, because although what I loved about all your offerings was that it was a beautiful blend of Vapu and Vani. So in every Vapu story, you had Vani mixed up in there. So it kind of made it richer and richer, because I could experience the Vani through the Vapu. And that Guru Seva story about, firstly, don't be afraid. Fear doesn't work around Gurudev. And also always remember the servants of Gurudev. They're fiercer, that you have to serve them more than Gurudev. And actually it reminds me, of course, it's the same with Krishna. Krishna wants us to serve Gurudev more than he wants us. If it's Gurudev or Krishna, you serve Gurudev, right? So it works up. Yeah, it works that way. So that was very beautiful.
I can add something more about that, Prabhuji, is that it has the directly relation with Raganuga, because Vaidhi Bhakti means serving with fear, fear of the punishment and all these things. And Raganuga means serving with intimacy. So Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj explains that intimacy, Vishrambhena Guru Seva, means serving without fear. That I came to know, of course, much later, but at the time it was just spontaneous, I just knew. And I tell you that also the capacity of holding my ground and ignoring Gurudev was actually his mercy also.
Of course, that was an amazing story. And I have to say, for me, although in 1996, of course, I knew nothing, and still now I'm just a neophyte devotee, this Raganuga Vaidhi, and I'm only at the level of Vaidhi, I'm not at any Raganuga level at all, but I've always been sensitive to this mood. Like, I'm attracted to that non-fear mood. If I feel around Gurudev, or actually around any other guru, fear, it actually makes me very uncomfortable. Even though I know I'm not really at that level of qualification, I'm only attracted by that beautiful, sweet mood. That's the only thing that gets me in. It's
Yes,
a wonderful
true.
point you make. And I'd like to extend an invitation to you to come to England. I think it would be wonderful for you to do a preaching tour. We can talk about it, how to arrange it, but we would take care of everything. And I think the devotees in England would get great benefit from you for having your association. I was going to say, Yashari, what do you think of that? But you're in India now, so.
Yeah,
But as an ongoing member of the England congregation, Yashari, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful idea. I think that
Does it get
a
your
lot
blessing?
of people. Yeah, well, I
Why
don't.
don't
You
we do
can't
it
get.
when you're? No. Why don't we do it when you're back in England too, so you
Well,
can be
I'm back
involved?
in June
All right,
if marriage is available.
Raj, can you come in June?
I can see now, but we definitely plan, Prabhuji, to definitely be my pleasure. Definitely, yes.
Amazing. I think the devotees here would really love you. So we have one more speaker. We'd love you to stay for that and the kirtan. I'm just going to make a couple of announcements. Thank you so much, Marge. Again, beautiful. A couple of quick announcements. So